The Little Princess Who Raised a Dragon. Chapter 1. A Very Strange Egg. Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by silver mountains and cotton candy clouds, there lived a little princess named Clara. Princess Clara had golden curls that bounced when she laughed and eyes as bright as morning dew. But more than anything else, Clara loved animals. She loved the songbirds that nested by her window, the palace cats who purred by the fireplace, and even the frogs that croaked beside the lily pond. One sunny morning, while exploring the royal garden, Clara saw something shiny lying under a big rose bush. It wasn't a jewel or a marble, it was an egg, but not an ordinary egg. It was huge, almost as big as her head and covered in tiny rainbow scales that sparkled in the light.
Wow, a magical egg,
whispered Clara. She looked around. No one was there, no guards, no gardeners, not even the royal rooster. Very gently, she picked it up and wrapped it in her cape.
I'll take care of you until your mommy comes back,
she promised. But the mommy never came. Chapter 2. The Hatching Surprise. For days, Clara kept the egg warm inside her room. She built a soft nest out of her favorite blankets and even sang lullabies to it every night. Then, one morning, while Clara was brushing her hair, she heard a crack. She turned around just in time to see a tiny claw poking out of the shell. Then another crack, crack, crack. Out tumbled a baby creature with sparkling green scales, a long thin tail, and the cutest little wings she had ever seen.
You're a dragon,
gasped Clara. The dragon sneezed, sending out a puff of golden smoke.
Ah, true, bless you, little one. I'll call you Ember.
Clara giggled. Ember squeaked happily and curled around her finger like a kitten. Chapter 3. A Secret in the Castle. Clara knew she had to keep Ember a secret. If the royal guards found a dragon in the castle, they might take him away. So she made a little hiding place for him, a cozy den under her bed, filled with soft pillows and toy knights. Every morning, while everyone thought the princess was studying royal manners, she secretly fed Ember milk and honey. But dragons grow fast. In just a week, Ember was too big to hide under the bed. His tail stuck out, and his wings made whip-whip noises whenever he turned around. Clara tried to distract the maids and guards whenever they came near.
"Oh, what's that sound, Your Highness?"
asked the maid Nora one day.
That's my new music box,
Clara said quickly, smiling nervously. She turned the music box on. It tinkled softly, almost covering the sound of Ember's hiccup, hic, and a puff of smoke floated out from under the bed.
Oh dear, we really need to work on your sneezing,
whispered Clara, fanning the air. Chapter 4. Flying lessons gone wrong. By the next month, Ember had grown so much that his wings brushed against the ceiling. He loved looking out the window at the sky.
Do you want to fly, Ember?
Clara asked one morning. Ember nodded eagerly, wagging his tail.
All right, but we have to be careful,
Clara said. That night, when everyone was asleep, Clara and Ember sneaked out of the castle. The moonlight made the garden glow like silver.
Okay, flap your wings slowly,
she whispered. Ember flapped once, twice, and lifted into the air.
Wow!
Clara clapped her hands, but then Ember sneezed again. Achoo! A burst of flame shot out, and poof! The Queen's favorite rosebush turned black.
Oh no! Down, Ember, down!
Cried Clara. They both landed in a puddle, covered in soot, but laughing.
You'll get better. Flying is hard, even for dragons,
said Clara, patting his nose. Chapter 5. The Royal Discovery. One afternoon, the king heard strange sounds echoing through the castle halls, deep rumbling noises, and the flap of wings.
Is there a storm outside?
he asked.
No, Your Majesty, but smoke seems to be coming from Princess Clara's room,
said the guard. The king hurried upstairs. When he opened the door, he found Clara trying to fan away clouds of smoke while Ember hid behind the curtains.
Clara, why is there a dragon in your room?
Said the king slowly. Clara froze. Then she took a deep breath.
Because he needed someone to take care of him. I found his egg all alone in the garden. He's not scary, Papa. He's my friend,
She said softly. The king blinked in surprise. He looked at Ember, who peeked out nervously and wagged his tail. Then Ember walked up to the king, bowed his little head, and gently licked the king's boot. The king laughed.
Well, he certainly has royal manners.
The queen, who had followed them in, crossed her arms.
But a dragon in the castle, dear? What if he breathes fire again?
Clara held Ember tightly.
He'll learn. I'll teach him.
The king smiled kindly.
Very well. But only if you take full responsibility, Princess Clara. You must train your dragon to behave.
Clara's eyes shone.
I promise.
Chapter 6. Dragon School. The next day, Clara made a special schedule for Ember. Dragon School by Princess Clara 1. No fire indoors. 2. No flying over the royal bakery. 3. No tail swinging near the dishes. 4. Always use polite roars. 5. Share snacks nicely. Training was not easy. Ember accidentally burned his blanket during nap time and once sneezed a marshmallow into the chandelier. But Clara never gave up. She read books about dragons, taught Ember to blow bubbles instead of fire, and even made him a little gold medal that said, "Best behaved dragon in the kingdom." Every night, she whispered to him,
I'm proud of you, Ember.
and Ember would curl around her feet, purring like a warm engine. Chapter 7. The Dragon Parade. One morning, the town announced a royal parade day. All the royal animals would walk through the streets, the horses, the peacocks, even the royal turtles. Clara asked her parents.
Can Ember join too?
The queen hesitated.
Only if he promises not to sneeze fire.
Ember nodded very seriously. So Clara polished his scales until they shone like emeralds. When the parade began, everyone gasped. "A dragon!" cried the crowd. But Ember didn't roar or spit flames. Instead, he bowed politely and blew out tiny golden bubbles that floated in the air. The children laughed and chased the bubbles through the street. Even the queen smiled.
He's wonderful, Clara. You've raised him well.
Chapter 8. A Hero in the Sky. That night, while the whole castle slept, a sudden storm rolled in. Lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, and one of the royal flags was torn from the tower and flew away.
Oh no, the royal flag!
Cried Clara, running to the window. Before she could call the guards, Ember spread his wings.
Wait, Ember, it's dangerous.
But Ember had already flown out into the storm. Through the rain and wind, he soared higher and higher, catching the flag with his claws. Then, carefully, he returned to the tower and tied it back with his tail before landing beside Clara, dripping wet but smiling proudly.
You did it. You're a hero.
She laughed, hugging him tight. The next morning, the king announced,
From this day forward, Sir Ember the Dragon shall be the royal guardian of the sky.
Everyone cheered. Ember bowed, and for the first time, he let out a mighty but gentle roar that echoed across the valley. Chapter 9. I Promise Forever. As the years passed, Clara grew taller and wiser. But no matter how many lessons she learned or royal duties she had, she always found time for Ember. They flew together every sunrise, gliding above the castle walls, over the meadows, and into the clouds. Sometimes, Ember would fly her to secret places, a lake shaped like a heart, a rainbow cave hidden in the mountain, or a field of glowing flowers that only bloomed at night. And every time, Clara would whisper,
"I'm so glad I found you under that rose bush."
Ember would nuzzle her shoulder and rumble softly, "And I'm so glad you didn't walk away." Chapter 10. The Little Princess and Her Dragon. One evening, as the stars came out, Clara sat on Ember's back, looking up at the sky.
"Do you think there are other dragons out there?"
Ember tilted his head, then blew a tiny flame that turned into a glowing heart in the air. Clara giggled.
"I guess that means yes."
She leaned against his warm scales.
"No matter what happens, you'll always be my best friend."
And from that night on, whenever the villagers saw two shadows flying across the moon, one small and one mighty, they smiled and said,
"There goes the little princess who raised a dragon."
Moral of the story: love, patience, and kindness can turn even the wildest creature into a gentle friend.